Good morning, teacher and everyone. And the members of my group are Elenia Mao, Cesar Lescano, and Jasmine Ramos. We are talking about the report of restaurant industry 2030. The main points of the landscape. This landscape shows information about the restaurant sector in the USA, growth for a 2020 to 2030 decade. The restaurant industry is going to grow by the year 2030. However, it will grow to a lesser extent with 0.7% compared to the previous decade, 2010 to 2018, with 1.7%. But it will grow more than a decade of 2002 to 2010, when it decreased by 0.1%. Along the same lines, it is important to highlight that the growth of this industry will generate an increase in sales by the restaurant sector, with 25% of growth in this new decade, and a greater increase in jobs. Exactly in 2018, restaurant sector offered 15 million jobs. It is estimated that in 2030 it will reach with 70 million. The increase in jobs in this new decade will be lower in percentage terms than in a previous decade. But why? Because of the slower growth of the population and the labor force, only with 0.5% in the next decade. Labor force has been decreasing its annual growth for 5 consecutive decades and is expected to be going in the same direction. It's crucial to point bullets in Texas and Nevada, which are expected to grow by more than 17%. The workforce is increasingly made up of older workers. Over the years, there are fewer workers under the age of 20 and a greater number of workers over the age of 65.
On the other hand, there will be a diverse scenario in the future, due to the number of Hispanic Americans will increase, accounting for 21% of the US population. This diversity could be a huge opportunity to bring new perspectives, which can drive innovation, more accurate market targeting, the opportunity to offer a broader range of products and services, and the possibility to attract a top talent workforce.
Well, one of the main points of landscape in 2030 is the older adults are expected to make up a larger proportion of the US population over the next decade. Well, according to the projection from the US Census Bureau, there will be 73.1 million adults ages 65 and older in the US in 2030, comprising the 21% of the total population. These factors should be taken into consideration for the future. Restaurants must employ new strategies, create a personalized service to attract this growing public, as it will be represented in the future a fifth of the US population.
The second point is about to analyze the pulse check for the industry. Well, the restaurant industry is going to present many changes by 2030. Emphasis will be placed on customer loyalty, since competition will be higher than ever in this sector. It will emphasize the relation of delivery services, which will be a necessary factor to be able to operate successfully in this new decade. The most important trends that have been occurring this decade and will continue in the next are: first, the incentive to eat healthy and nutritious food, so that the customer will be willing to pay a higher price for eating healthy. Also, the appreciation of time and desire to order food at home, since it is more efficient and fast service. It will be less frequent for customers to go to a restaurant, especially for delivery services, will increase by more than 100%. That's why there are going to be restaurants that only make delivery, ghost restaurants. This is why package for delivery service will be more sophisticated in the next decade, and there will be special areas for delivery and carry out. Restaurant profits margins will not increase due to higher salaries that will be paid to employees, and also there will be more sales expenses, delivery expenses. And this is why cost management softwares will be crucial for restaurants if they want to have a higher net income. And they will be more energy efficient. Objective is the reduced cost. On the same line, private financing will grow due to the attractiveness of this industry, more changes, more ways to doing businesses, and all restaurants will have to use POS machines for selling.
Related to the Peruvian market, we see more and more new brands focused and concerned about health and nutrition, like La Nevera Fit, Armónica Café, etc., which in a way becomes part of the restaurant marketing effort in order to reach this target market that is becoming more common. Because as it says in the article, more consumers will have dietary restrictions, so operators will offer more options to satisfy specific diets and more sophisticated palates. As we see in these pictures, these brands try to sell ultimate goal of well-being and health. Saying that these products are 100% natural, or the phrase lo rico y sano sí van de la mano.
Okay, so now I want to talk about the technology and data and refer to the analysis the pulse check for the industry. A relevant point based on technology is that now the menu card will be digital. So many restaurants will be applying this method in the future because it reduces the use of plastics and derivatives, also optimize the ordering time, and it's more comfortable and practical. The use of this new model itself is easy. On the table, there will be a barcode where the customers can scan with their cell phone and they can access to the menu and view it in an easier way.
Number 3 is about the disruptors. The first disruptor we choose is the bionic restaurant. Technology generates automation and process improvement in industry. Robotics will have an important role in food preparation and the kitchen line. This will reduce labor force, cost, exactly reduce staff, and it will improve the quality of food. Until today, several devices are manufactured by robots. This is because the use of this technology allows for a greater speed, efficiency, and effectiveness.
Another disruptor is the culinary AI, or the culinary artificial intelligence. I thought this disruptor is really interesting because it is all about synthesizing data and information about foods, beverages, ingredients, chemical compounds, etc., which will result in the creation of recipes, dishes, and beverages beyond and unlike what humans would produce. That's why this idea could totally fit with that is happening right now in the Peruvian gastronomy, because we have a variety of dishes already standardized, easily replicated for this intelligence and many locations simultaneously. And at the same time, giving the possibility to patent the recipes as technological processes, not just a list of ingredients. There is always the possibility for new creations too. So AI chefs and recipe builders could generate an entirely new categories of cuisine and beverages, which could lead to a new kinds of restaurants.
Okay, I want to talk about the virtual restaurants and dark kitchens. Well, this new business model that is accelerating fast will generate a great impact and will redefine the concept of what a restaurant is. The benefits of this are less fixed costs and higher operating margins for profit or investment in advertising. Reduction of personal expenses being a direct expense with the public. So there will be no expenses related to waiters, receptionists, among others. Price competitiveness. Thanks for the savings in personnel and supplies, the company can lower the cost of their menus, allowing it to be more competitive in the market. The competitiveness in delivery services. This company can optimize its logics to the maximum to make on-time deliveries its main competitive advantage. At the same time, this would be a viable way to the new habits during this pandemic. Based on these advantages, one as an entrepreneur can take an analysis according to these needs and be able to apply this new trend.
Finally, we are talking about the conclusions and the learning outcomes. We conclude that the restaurant industry is going to have a significant changes in the next decade about the governance, politics, the economy, the macro and micro environment, and the new trends will generate a significant impact in the restaurant sector. About the landscape, the industry will grow, but at lower rate. The labor force will have made up in a greater proportion by older adults. Therefore, it will be essential to analyze in which state or city to locate a restaurant, since it can be a crucial factor in terms of profitability.
Another conclusion is that restaurants will adapt to the ever-changing tastes and preferences of consumers, and the technology will be present in many processes, since supply chain logistics using analytics to predict and capitalize on consumer demand. To give the sense of safe environment with new traceability technologies, ingredient and sourcing data, automated food safety management systems, and advances in utility and waste management to become more efficient organizations. The workforce will also be affected because technology will be the way restaurants train them.
Well, conclusion about this topic is that technology will always be considered a fundamental tool for the human that allows innovating ideas in relation to a business. In this case, related to the branch of food and beverage. We must take advantage of the new trends that appear every time and know which of them should be applied in our business. That's why it's important to be in constant investigation of how the market is advancing globally. Sometimes you can find something innovative and you can apply that with a process that generates a profitable profit.